Welcome to another episode of Backstage Safari. I'm Matt Gebhardt.
And I am Jacob Wallin, and we are here with Emily at the orangutan habitat. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're about to see?
Yeah, we're going to meet one of our 6 orangutans, Kutai, who is a 32-year-old female, and we're going to do a little bit of cardiac training with her. And so that is so important to do all this training because, like us, cardiac disease is really prevalent with these guys. Where we differ a little bit is usually our arteries thicken as we create plaque and things like that. What theirs does is theirs thins out, and so we actually need to monitor that in case they were to get cardiac disease, because then we can be preventative and help treat them.
All right, let's take a look.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to do some training with Kutai, and we put on masks because we're going to be a bit closer to her. These guys are 97% genetically similar to us, so a lot of things that are true for you and I are true for them, like that cardiac disease, as well as being susceptible to things like the flu and COVID. So this was a PPE protocol that we put in place. And so that's why as we step closer, we're gonna be safe for her so that she doesn't get anything.
Okay.
So this is Kutai. She's a 32-year-old adult female, but she has roughly the strength of 5 pro football players.
Wow.
And so I can never enter the same space with her and take a look at her if she were to have a cut. She needs to help participate in her healthcare. So these guys are so intelligent that we can ask them to show us different body parts, and they can do that so we're safe and they're safe, but we still get full access. Good. And so we can do simplistic things like their body presentations, and then we also do really advanced stuff like their cardiac care. So they can do a blood draw, blood pressure, echocardiogram, EKG, and an x-ray and a pulse oximeter. So all of those things that we do when we go to the doctor to take a look at our heart, we do with the orangutans through protected barriers like this. So there's a few challenges that we go through. One of the really cool things that we can do is an x-ray. So this is our x-ray system. And so we'll ask her to demonstrate it. Our veterinarian can hold the x-ray machine right here. Our veterinarian can hold the x-ray machine right here, and it would shoot through this plexiglass window, and the plate would be on the other side. So we'll see. Kutai, x-ray. Back. X-ray. She's like, I don't know what you want yet. So one of the really cool things is we do all of this through operant conditioning or positive reinforcement. So someone that is 5 times stronger than me, I can't make her do anything, nor do I want to. I want her to have complete and total choice in her day. And so as we go through this, if she says, no, I don't want to do x-ray, that's totally fine. We'll ask again later. We'll try to reshape it if maybe I'm concerned that like the behavior broke down in the steps. So if you think of training as steps, and the completed behavior is number 10, and maybe she backtracked back to number 7, then we're gonna build it back up to number 10 again. So it'll just depend on how we see with her. Right now I think she's just investigating us a little bit more. Kutai, come here.
And how old is she?
Actually, 32.
32.
No ma'am, that's not it. Come sit. Good. Kutai, back.
How old do they typically get?
X-ray, good hold. X-ray. Good. Orangutans can live into their 50s, 60s in managed care. In their natural habitat, they're going to be extremely lucky if they make it to 30. And that is due to deforestation and human predation. So unfortunately, the illegal pet trade is a very big proponent of their decrease in numbers as well as the deforestation. So here we have 6 orangutans in total, ranging from 8 years old up to 44 years old. So we have a good smattering of numbers for them. Extra. Good hold. Good. The benefit of doing x-ray like this is that we can get a chest x-ray of her. And so if they were to develop cardiac disease, we might see some physical changes with their heart that we can see on x-ray, as well as if we notice that they're locomoting very differently, if they're maybe not using an arm or a leg, we can modify this behavior later to ask her to go up to show us her hip, to go down and maybe show us her hand. And so this is our initial behavior that we can grow as we develop it. And Kutai is very good with it. She's roughly center. And she holds really steady for that x-ray, just like when we have to get in position and then hold really still. Our veterinarian stands here and he has that protective vest on, and our vet tech stands by the plate and she wears that protective vest. So we would stand behind them to stay safe from any of those x-rays.
And what is this that you're feeding her?
This is a fun pasta mix that I made. It's got a little bit of blue cheese dressing, mayonnaise, pasta, and some seasoning, and she loves it. These guys are genetically similar to us, and one of the big differences of where they differ is the cecum in their stomach. So that is more comparable to a horse, and so they are vegetarians. They can hunt if it calls for it. So with deforestation in their natural habitat, a lot of those fruit trees are getting cut down and destroyed. And so actually orangutans have been found needing to fish because there's no other food source. And so it can be very challenging for their gut system because it's just not made for that. One of the other behaviors that our orangutans do is they do vaccines, or if they were to get anesthetized. So this is my training needle. It is a real needle, but I have taken off the pokey end. So I can put pressure on here and I feel that there's pressure, but it's not piercing my skin. And so we can use this for training on them. And what we do is do training. Yes, you know, good. We clean the area just like with humans. As we go to the doctor and they clean our skin, we will clean theirs to make sure that the area is free from germs and debris. And then if it was a real injection, stick. Good. We're not adding anything extra to her body. We're not putting any germs in her. And so the alcohol is really beneficial there. They hold for the full stick. And then they come back so we can actually check it, make sure that the site looks good. Maybe if the medicine was supposed to be intramuscular and if it went sub-Q right under the skin, we can double check that. So they're really good at letting us take a look.
I was going to say, she's really got a hang,
right?
Hang of the procedure.
Yes, she's like, oh, I know what that is. We work with our vet tech who comes down almost weekly, and we do training with all the orangutans on different cardiac procedures so that they're very used to it. So it's a normal Tuesday for them when they see the vet or the vet tech with a needle. That's just another old training session day, and it's not something that's really obscure for them that they're concerned about. So the more that we get these behaviors in as it's just their normal day, the better we're going to be if we need to use them for a real medical procedure. Or if we find out that they have cardiac disease, they're like, oh, I've done x-ray 42 times. You know, this is no big deal. This is no problem. I've done echocardiograms last week. I can do that really easily. So the more that we have these tools in our toolbox, the better we're going to be for them, that we can help catch and treat cardiac disease if it were to ever present. Knock on wood, we have no cardiac disease, which is really exciting. One of the other really cool things that we do that I'm very proud of is because all of our orangutans know all of these cardiac behaviors, we actually host a free workshop every other year where we invite peers from the field down, and so that they can learn everything that we do, take it home, take it to their apes, make it better, make it fit their apes and their facility, so that the more apes that we're helping catch cardiac disease, that's the more lives that we're saving. Prior to this training, unfortunately, you knew about cardiac disease in their necropsy, the animal autopsy afterwards, after they had passed away. So we want to use these tools now as they're awake, as they're healthy, to track what a healthy heart looks like and catch it if we ever get to cardiac disease.
I saw when we were walking up, she was playing with the little sheet down there. Did they kind of play with stuff around the habitats?
Yeah, so orangutans are an arboreal species, so they live in the canopies of the tree in their natural habitat. And what they do that's really cool and unique is they make a new nest, giant bird's nest basically, every single night. And so we provide different sheets, hay, shredded paper, bedding, all sorts of things like that for them so they can make a nest. And so what they'll do with the sheets sometimes is rip them up so they can line up a nest area. One of the really cool things with them too is orangutans have been found to have culture based off of what they put in their nests. Some populations will put leaves that repel mosquitoes. Some will use blankets, some will use pillows. And they actually found them to have culture through how they make their nest at night.
Wow.
For orangutans, they are very intelligent. They have the intelligence of a 5 to a 6-year-old and extreme patience. So it's really important for us to give them enrichment every single day. Enrichment is something new, interesting, or different that we can add or change in their environment that would elicit natural behaviors. So things like sheets, which would create that nesting behavior. If we were to scatter this pasta out here, they're really big tool users, so that could be a foraging behavior. Things that keep them really mentally, physically stimulated is really important in our day, and something that our team really loves doing. We love coming up with new challenges for them. We love creating new problems and puzzles that they can solve, and finding things that they really like to do. Sometimes it's funny because the things we put a lot of time and energy into, they might be like, oh, that's no big deal. And then we give them something small like a cardboard box and they spend hours on it. So it's really fun to figure out what they like and what they occupy their time with. She's also really fun because she likes water a lot. So she just went to our Lixit here, which is a constant water source, and she sprayed herself, so you can see the dripping water here. It's orangutans don't have the right fat to body mass ratio to be buoyant. They would sink. Kutai, however, didn't get that memo, and she loves water. So her pool on exhibit is short enough that she would never be underwater if she were to fully submerge herself in. So she likes to play with that. She has to be really safe, and we do that with our facility and how we built things, just because they don't understand that concept of buoyancy and depth and things like that. But she really enjoys having water and playing with that.
And this here is the day yard, you said, right?
Yes. So this is our day yard. We have two. So one that mirrors this on the other side through a tunnel. We have 6 bedrooms inside and our large yard habitat. So between our 6 orangutans, we can actually rotate through, and we do flexible housing. So Kutai can go with our family group, and we can kind of rearrange them and create different groupings that we do. So sometimes as people come to the zoo, they might see 1 orangutan up to 4. Just depends on the flexible housing that we choose to do that day. Do you want some?
And do they all kind of have their own personalities?
Between all of them, they have extremely unique personalities. We have Razak, our 8-year-old, who's very playful. Everything is a fun game. Kutai here, she is so smart. So everything is a puzzle that she has to solve, even if it's something that we didn't challenge her with. Like our fire hose here, we secure it all with nuts and bolts, and we'll strip the bolts down. And she's like, don't worry, I'll take that down for you. You didn't really want that up there. So she keeps it really challenging for us by solving those puzzles where we're like, don't leave the fire hose. And then we have, with talking personalities, we have Muka, who is a very laid back, very chill adult male. So we really have the spectrum for them of all the different personalities, all the different senses of humor that they have in like how they play, what they want to see, what they'll let us see them do, things like that. They're very entertaining that way.
And did they all come from kind of different places around the country, or where did they?
Yeah. So one of the misconceptions with zoos, and accredited AZA facilities is that animals come from the wild or their natural habitat. All of our orangutans were born and raised in zoos, other AZA accredited zoos. So Kutai here came from the Brookfield Zoo. Her and May, one of our other females, are actually half sisters. They have same moms, different dads. And so within AZA, we break it down one more level and we have the orangutan SSP, the Species Survival Plan. So it's a collective group, have over 100 years of orangutan knowledge combined. And so what they do is work with facilities like ours. When we say we have space, we'd be interested in breeding, they help kind of match orangutans with facilities. And then they look at the genetics. So within AZA zoos, we can manage orangutans for 100 years or 100 generations, never needing to go with outside of our genetic bubble. And that's the goal. Some species might be a little bit lower than that. Some might be a little bit higher than that. Orangutans are pretty close. I think last I heard it was in the high 80s, low 90s of how many years we can manage our populations with the zoos in Canada, US, and Mexico for the AZA zoos. So within that, they look at the genetics and then they'll will move orangutans around. So it could be that KJ, for example, he is owned by the Phoenix Zoo, even though he lives here with us. He lived for a little while in Florida, then moved here. Kutai we do own, very similar to, by owning, I'm meaning there are contracts that zoos agree to. And so her facility that used to own her was San Diego, and they signed her over to us. So zoos might not own everybody that lives at their zoo, which is really interesting.
Okay.
And that goes within the endangered species portion. So kind of a weird deep delve into SSPs and zoos. That could be another whole segment on just what does that mean.
You said they're super strong and you don't want to be in there with them. Are they necessarily dangerous? Are they more kind of laid back, or is it just more precautionary?
It's 100% precautionary. So even though they're super strong and their personality is a lot more chill than some of the other great apes, I have watched, it was Kutai's son and dad wrestle to where their elbows touched behind their back. And for us, we just are not that flexible in our shoulders. For them, they are. So that play behavior, if it was us, that would dislocate our shoulders. As well as there have been, toys that we sat and tried to like jump on to bend, and they broke no problem. So even if they meant no harm as we were in the same space, we're overall very fragile, squishy, weak species. So we never ever share the same space with them for our safety. And so as we interact, if I was doing a training session, my hand would touch the top of hers, never underneath, never going in her mouth. And then as we did the session, I never entered her space. So like as she touched her belly, if it was very far away, my finger wouldn't go in. She is asked to bring her belly to me. So that way there's that safety aspect for me as well.
That makes sense. I was just making sure I shouldn't reach out and try and shake hands or anything.
No. These guys, even as, we all see the videos on social media and things like that of people jumping barriers and such. When you think of that, this is their home. That is their protected space. And so someone jumping over, getting close to them that they don't know, that they don't want, that's like an intruder coming into your home and your space. And so sometimes in those videos we see aggression and things like that. So that's why our barriers are very important at the zoo for their safety as well as for our guests, to keep everybody safe and secure. Because they, in those situations, might defend their house. And we would do the same thing if that was us in roles reversed. So that's one thing we try to really convey to guests as they're going through, if they're hollering as, a big cat is sleeping. Be like, But if you are taking a nap and your neighbors are having a huge party, that would be disruptive to you. If you're watching TV and somebody's banging on your window, that's not a comfortable feeling for you. So flipping those conversations has actually really helped people understand that maybe that how their interactions and how their moments are with the animals could be if it was them. Like that, flipping those roles, helping them understand how important their behavior is at the zoo and seeing these animals. Watching them do their own thing in their natural space is a lot more entertaining than startling them as you bang on the glass and things like that.
That makes sense. As we were coming in and walking by the main exhibit, we could see several of them right up against the glass. So they seem to be very social and playful.
They're very social with the guests and they love engaging with them. And one of my favorite things with that is it creates such a memorable moment. As you're interacting and you're visiting on a pretty day like today, and KJ comes up and he's flopped on his back giving kisses, those are the moments that are going to stick with you for your whole life. And one of my really good friends, that's how she got into the field. She was at a zoo and this big silverback gorilla came up to her at the window, turned his back and leaned against it, and she's like, that's it, I want to be a zookeeper. Like that was the moment that solidified it for her. Just having those moments with those animals, those memorable moments, can really make an impact. And then not only does that maybe change how you look at the animals, where you go in your career, the respect you give for them, but what we're hoping is that takes it a step further, that you go, Razak was really fun playing at the glass. How can I help his species in the natural habitat? How can I help conservation? So taking our animals here, having those connections, gains guests the initiative to go further, to help keep them safe and keep their population going in their natural habitat.
Were there any other final remarks or anything else you want people to know about the orangutans here?
I don't think so. I've gone way past what I was originally thinking.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us and introducing us. This has been great.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for coming out.